Story time about how my half-sister tries to steal all of my boyfriends. Disclaimer, this is not my story time. It was sent to me on Instagram. I'm currently 24 years old and I didn't meet my half-sister till about a year ago. She's 22, so she's 2 years younger than I am. My parents have a really complicated past. They divorced when I was really young and they pretty much never spoke after the divorce. What I didn't know back then was the reason why they got divorced until now. When I was 3 years old, my mom found out that my dad had a child with another woman. It was totally heartbreaking for my mom and I totally understand looking back. Fast forward 20 years later, my mom and my dad started speaking again. They kind of wanted just to get over all the past stuff and just be friends. I was really happy about this because I've always wanted this for my parents. Throughout the years, I kept a decent relationship with my dad, but we were never really close. So once my mom and my dad started making up, I started having more of a relationship with my dad too. And I also knew that I did have a half-sister somewhere in the world, so I was excited to meet her. We all decided to go have dinner, and that's when I met my half-sister. I assumed that her and I were just going to become really good friends because we were so close in age and we had the same dad. I mean, she's my half-sister, but I couldn't be more wrong. As soon as we met, she didn't even want to give me a hug. My mom was so upset by it that she even confronted her and asked her what her problem was. And in front of everyone at the dinner, she told my mom and I that she had no desire to get to know us, and that she didn't even consider us family. My mom and I left the dinner and basically didn't speak to her for a long time. But of course, my dad, being my dad, forced her to call my mom and I to apologize. Of course, this was all super awkward. She apologized and we went about our lives. Right before Thanksgiving, I started dating someone new. He was really amazing, we got along super well and had tons of fun. My mom loved him. That year, we decided to join the two families and have one big Thanksgiving dinner. I knew my half-sister was going to be there, so I talked to my mom and told her to just have patience in case she said something to us. As soon as we show up to the house, my half-sister goes straight to my boyfriend and starts talking to him. At first, I didn't really get annoyed at all because I thought at least she was being nice. But boy, was I wrong. She spent the whole night talking trash about me to my boyfriend. My boyfriend kept looking over at me and making weird faces, so I went over there and asked him how they were. That's when my half-sister literally looks at me and just walks away. Then my boyfriend fills me in on everything that she said about me. She told him that I was dating 3 other guys behind his back. Thankfully, he didn't believe her, of course, but after this, she basically stalked him on Instagram and wouldn't leave him alone. She even got his phone number and started sending him messages. And the only reason I found out was because I saw a message come in through his phone. When I confronted my boyfriend about it, he told me that it was totally innocent and that I needed to get over it. And yes, my half-sister is very pretty, but I got really upset at my boyfriend and decided we needed to take a break. That's when she swooped in. Part 2 is up. Story time. Part 2 of how my half-sister tries to steal all of my boyfriends. Disclaimer, this is not my story time. I was sending it on Instagram. After she stalked my boyfriend and started sending him messages, told him we needed to take a break because I saw the messages on his phone. And he didn't tell me. Instead of confronting her, I decided to call my dad and tell him what she was doing. And that's when my dad told me that he was sick of us being children and that we both needed to mature. I mean, I wasn't the one stalking her boyfriend. Since that failed, I went straight to my half-sister. I told her she needed to leave me alone and to never speak to me again. That's when she literally denied everything that she had been doing. She told me that my boyfriend was making all that stuff up and that she would never do that. Of course, I didn't believe her. After a few weeks, I call my ex and tell him that I'm ready to talk again. That's when he told me that he actually started dating my half-sister. I couldn't believe it. Once again, I called my dad and told him what she was doing, and when he asked her about it, she denied having ever done that. She even told my dad that she wasn't dating him. So at this point, it was her word against mine. I decided to just move on with my life and I started dating new people. Once again, I meet a really good guy. I told him I wanted to take things slow and he said he understood. We were out to dinner one night and I decided to tag him in one of my stories. A few days later, he asks me if I have a half-sister and I said yes. That's when he sent me a screenshot of a conversation he had with her. And again, she was telling him that I was dating a bunch of other guys. She even asked him if they could meet up for coffee. I told him to block her and completely ignore her. A few days after that, my ex, who left me for my half-sister, calls me up and tells me that she broke up with him. He told me that I was right about her, that she was toxic and totally demented. He then begged me to give him another chance. Once again, I go to my dad and I show him all the screenshots of her messaging my boyfriends. Finally, my dad believed me. My dad and I both confronted her and she did